Hello everyone, today we will discuss about thallus organization in algae. In algae, generally the plant body is called thallus. What do you mean by thallus? Thallus is nothing but the plant body doesn't differentiate it into root, stem as well as leaves. So here the total plant body is not having in any uniform structures in any other classes. Here one thallus is different from another thallus. So here many forms are there in thallus. We will see one by one. Unicellular forms are there, colonial forms are there, filamentous forms are there, pseudoparenchymatous forms are there, and parenchymatous forms are there. So we will go with one by one. Here first of all, unicellular non-motile forms. Unicellular non-motile forms means here the plant body, the thallus is made up of only single cell without having any locomotory organelles. Okay, so here for example, first one is Chlorophyceae chlorella example. So this is the unicellular algae. So we have studied this unicellular algae in physiology C3 cycle. Melvin Calvin used this an experimental organism for elucidation of the C3 cycle, that is Kelvin cycle. So this is the chlorella, it is the non-motile unicellular algae. And another one is from Cyanophyceae. Almost Cyanophyceae members are all unicellular. Best example, spirulina. So this is the biofertilizer and mostly economically significant organism. And from Xanthophyceae, so Cariopsis is the organism. It is unicellular algae. And from Rhodophyceae, Porphyridium is the unicellular algae. And almost here in algae, generally smallest eukaryotic algae, Micromonas pusilla. So this is also Micromonas pusilla. So this is also a unicellular non-motile algae. So we will go to the motile algae. So this motile algae, generally these are motile forms, algal forms. The thallus is motile with the flagella, pseudopodia like locomotory organelles. So here when coming to flagella, here single flagella is there, two equal flagella are there, two unequal flagella are there. We will see examples. So single flagella, that is here motile forms. Motile forms are especially flagella are there, but here single flagella is present in some organisms. Example, Chromulina, and two equal flagella, well-known example, Chlamydomonas. So two equal flagella is present in Chlamydomonas, and here two unequal flagella, example, so here Cryptomonas. These are the examples of the flagella with here motile forms. And in some algae, those are having pseudopodia as the locomotory organelles. Example, Chrysamoeba. So in Chrysamoeba, we can observe the motility due to pseudopodia. And in some algae, here the periplast is calcareous. So best example, Chrysococcus. So Chrysococcus. So here in Chlamydomonas we have already studied that cup-shaped chloroplast is present. That is a speciality with respect to competitive exams. So this is about the unicellular algal forms. Okay. Next one is colonial forms. So here colonial forms are nothing but here individual cells are connected with some network, like those are all enveloped by the mucilage sheet. In Cenobium, finite number of cells, but those are overlapped by the mucilage sheet. So here finite number of cells are there. So the number is confined to some limit. So this is called Cenobium. In Cenobium, again motile forms are there and non-motile forms are there. So motile forms example, chlorella, that is what we call volvox. So in volvox we can observe the motile form. And here another one is non-motile. So here colony is there, overlapped by the mucilage sheet, but here it is non-motile. Best example, it is commonly known as water net. It is called hydrodictyon. Hydrodictyon. So this is the cenobium. Cenobium means finite number of cells are there enveloped by the mucilage sheath. So motile volvox, non-motile hydrodictyon. So these are the two examples of the cenobium. And another one is pamelloid forms are there. Pamelloid forms are nothing but here the cells are not in a proper number. Here that may be at random, not a finite number. Okay, in some colonies the number is something different. So it is different from one colony to another colony. It is not a limited number. That is the pamelloid form. Example, it is from chlorophyce, that is tetraspora. Tetraspora from chlorophyce. And another example is from, that is the pamelloid state, that is called another one, pamelloid. Here tetraspora is there. So here we will see colonial forms. So here colonial forms are cenobium, pamelloid, dendroid and rhizopodial. So these are the types in colonial forms. In colonial forms, generally cenobium is nothing but here finite number of cells are there. Means in every colony the number is fixed. So that is the cenobium. In cenobium, motile forms are there and non-motile forms are there. So best example of the motile forms are volvox. So here chlamydomonas like cells are there, all are connected and here all are enveloped by the mucilage sheath in motile form. And we will see the non-motile form. Here in non-motile form, here there is no locomotory organelles and here generally it is non-motile. And best example is water net. Common name is water net. It is called hydrodictyon. It is called hydrodictyon. Okay, so this is the example of the cenobium. And another one is pamelloid. In pamelloid, the number is not finite. So it may be different from one colony to another colony. That is pamelloid state. So this is in this pamelloid state. Best example is tetraspora. Tetraspora is from chlorophyce. From cyanophyce, here another example is there, that is the pamelloid form, that is called aphanotheca. So these are the examples of the pamelloid state, pamelloid colonial forms. And another one is dendroid. Dendroid means, remember, it is nothing but tree-like. Branched structures are present like tree. Okay, so here the best example is dendroid is Egbalocystis. Egbalocystis is the example of the dendroid form. Egbalocystis is the what we call, it is the example of the dendroid form. It is highly branched like tree, looks like tree. That's why the name dendroid. And another example is rhizopodial. So here in rhizopodial, we can observe that the cells are connected with rhizopodia. That's why the name rhizopodial branching. So here the example of the rhizopodial here is the chrysidiastrum. Chrysidiastrum is the example of the what we call rhizopodial. Okay, so here these are all examples of the colonial forms. Okay, so we will see the filamentous forms of thallus. Here in filamentous forms, generally unbranched forms are there, branched forms are there, and heterotrichous forms are there, siphonous forms are there. We will see one by one. So first of all, unbranched forms. So in this unbranched form, what happens is that generally the thallus is not having any branches. It is linearly like a small, without any branches, linear forms are present. It is called unbranched. So well-known examples from chlorophyce, that is Spirogyra, Udagonium. Spirogyra, Udagonium are the best examples of the unbranched forms. And another one is small trichomes arises from the same part of the that is called example Rivularia. Trichome-like structures may be generated from only one of the origin. That is the example is Rivularia. from trichome all forms are generated, but here there is no branches. It is called unbranched form. And another one is branched forms are there. Here the thallus is branched of having a small that is nothing but the thallus is differentiated into small lateral branches like structures. Example is what we call cladophora. Cladophora is the example of the branched form. And another one is here, the branched one is pseudo branching, another important one. So what is meant by pseudo branches? Here like lateral growths coming from the intercalary cells, like in between cells in the thallus, that may shows towards outgrowths. That outgrowths looks like branches, that is called pseudo branching. Best example of pseudo branching is from Synophyceae, that is called cytonema, is the example of the pseudo branching, right? And here these are the examples. And another one is heterotrichous forms. Heterotrichous forms in algae, that is having significance in algae. Best example here is nothing but, here how can we identify this heterotrichous. Heterotrichous is nothing but, here the thallus is divided into two. That is, one is prostate, another one is erect. So two types of branching is observed in what we call heterotrichous forms. So here in heterotrichous, best example is from Chlorophyceae, that is coleochaete and Fritchiella. Fritchiella are the examples of the what we call heterotrichous forms. And from Rhodophyceae, Batrachospermum is the heterotrichous form, that is the Batrachospermum. And another important point I want to mention you that here in algae, the total classification is given by Fritch scientists based on pigments, based on storage material, based on what we call nutrition and all those things. Here generally what we call Drapanaldeopsis, remember? So Drapanaldeopsis. This particular algae, it is having what we call, it is not having the prostate system, only erect system is there. It is the indication of it is the primary plant for the evolution of the algae towards the terrestrial forms. It is the first terrestrial plant, arises from this Drapanaldeopsis. It is the observation of the. So here we will see the pseudoparenchymatous forms. Here pseudoparenchyma is formed because it is also a filamentous form. But here in this filamentous forms, all filaments are aggregated with each other. So it looks like a parenchymatous tissue. That's why it is called pseudoparenchyma. Okay. So in this pseudoparenchyma, many examples are there. Best example already we have studied this in filamentous form, that is Batrachospermum. So here this Batrachospermum is uniaxial, formed from the only single filament branches. But multi-axial filaments are there, that is Nebelion is the another example. And from Rhodophyceae, that is Polysiphonia. So these are the examples of the pseudoparenchymatous. This is not the parenchyma, but here it appears like that because of the aggregation of the all filaments. These are all examples: Batrachospermum, Nebelion, and Codium, as well as Porphyry. And another last one is parenchymatous form. So this thallus looks like a foliose. It is also known as foliose form. So foliose means leaf-like. The thallus, if you touch the thallus, it looks like a leaf. That's why it is called parenchymatous or foliose forms. So example of this is, best example is Ulva. And another one is tube-like leaves-like structures are there, that is Porphyra. And all seaweeds, that is the seaweeds are all exhibit in the form of this is parenchymatous form. And another examples are especially this, many examples are there. Dictyota, ఒకసారి వరుసగా చెప్పేస్తాం. So next we will see parenchymatous thallus. Here the thallus is made up of parenchyma. Parenchymatous, here generally tissues are absent but looks like folios, like leaf like thallus. That's why it is called parenchyma. Tissues are absent in algae. So here that is called folios thallus. So in this folios thallus, generally examples are especially ulva, well known, ulva example, and another one is enteromorpha. Enteromorpha is like small tubular thallus, tubes like, but here small tubes like, but leaves are leaf like structure is present. So it is enteromorpha, and another one is porphyra, dictyota, fucus, laminaria. Almost seaweeds, main seaweeds are all having this parenchymatous thallus structure. So up to this we have completed different thallus organizations in algae. Okay, thank you.